Next performa to walk through is a project called The Shore in Portland, Oregon. This was the renovation of a car dealership into a gourmet grocery store in a trendy neighborhood in Northeast Portland. This was undertaken by a developer. The company is named Guerrilla Development, and they pride themselves on having a very artistic approach to development and also being very transparent about the work that they do. Unlike many other developers, the performas for all of their projects are available online. If you'd like to know how all of these really cool retail spaces for really offbeat food cart retailers who only sell meatballs with, I don't know, whatever silly things people do in Portland do. Their website is a great resource to find out about how this stuff actually makes sense. This particular performa is set up, even though there are multiple worksheets, almost all of the important parts of the performa have been stuck onto a single worksheet. However, that means that there are a whole bunch of tables involved, and so it's a little complicated to look at first, but we'll walk through it step by step. In the upper left corner of the first worksheet is a section that's called Project Facts. This starts out just like the income calculation in the previous performa was. It shows exactly what kinds of spaces are involved, which tenants. The project facts show that there are 2 retail spaces in this building. The largest retail space is leased to a grocery store, and then the second retail space doesn't yet have a tenant in it, but there is a projected amount that is shown for the rent on that particular space. Project Facts also includes a couple of common spaces that are not rented out to the tenants. So there's a little bit of common area with the building. There's also a small parking lot associated with the building. These cost money to build, but they don't pay rent. But they are important to include in the project facts nonetheless because they do still cost money to build. The second table underneath the project facts shows project costs. You'll see again that there are roughly 3 buckets that project costs come in as. There is the acquisition of the building. This was an existing building, and so the acquisition cost is relatively high compared to the last project that we looked at. The hard cost budget on this particular project is not that high because, again, it was an existing building that was in pretty good shape and didn't need a whole lot of construction cost in order to update it to become retail space. However, there are a lot of line items here for soft costs, and then you'll notice that there's a separate worksheet which goes into even more detail about where those soft costs come from. Retenanting a retail building involves a lot of design work, especially for a gourmet grocery store. It involves a lot of legal work. A lot of professionals need to spend a lot of time in order to make this project happen, and all of those are soft costs that are included within the project budget. 2 of the professionals that are involved with commercial real estate development that you may not think about very often in regard to residential real estate development are leasing agents and also the developer. That this particular budget includes a developer fee, which is set as a percentage of the project budget. This is to reimburse the developer for the time that she or he spends pulling the project together and coordinating everything. You can think of it as a project manager fee. Oftentimes, we confuse a developer fee, which is the fee that is spent for the developer's time, with the return at the end. In many cases, a developer will contribute some cash to a project, and you'll see on this worksheet that this particular developer has put cash into the project. And generally, the developer will put herself or himself as the very lowest part on the capital stack. Therefore, they may not contribute very much in terms of cash to the project. They would have the highest return at the very end of the project. This is frequently because developers really believe in the projects that they are going to build,